Yo, what up guys? Just going to ramble and vent about my Denver Nuggets in this video. I've been a big Denver Nuggets fan for a lot of years now, and just this season has just not started off great. We're 3-5 currently. Two of those wins were against a Karl Anthony Townless Minnesota Timberwolves, which were expected to win, and one other win was early on against Houston when, we're playing an out-of-shape James Harden and a team that is nowhere near as good as last year's. And yeah, we should be a lot better. People were expecting us to be basically a championship contender, just continue on the upward trajectory that we've been on, and for our players to get better. And I think our stars have, like Jokic would be leading the MVP race if we could actually get wins on the board, but he's forced to do so much, and we're still losing. I don't know if he can play any better than what he is. Obviously, there's a couple things he can improve on, because I watch him so much. He does things that do annoy me, like he gets in foul trouble way too often. He misses a layup or misses a shot and he thinks he was fouled, and then he commits a silly fast break foul, which he's always done. Really hopes he gets that out of his game. And then the other major thing is he just doesn't shoot enough. I feel like he's too unselfish. He needs to be more aggressive and just shoot more often. He's leading the league, I think, in turnovers at the moment, but that's expected when you have the usage rate and you're getting as many assists as him. Like, it's always the best players who turn over the ball the most as well, like LeBron James, Chris Paul, those types of player, Harden, those types of players. And Jamal Murray has really stepped up as well. People thought he'd go back to regular Jamal Murray. They didn't think the bubble was real, and I was skeptical as well. Especially after that first game against Sacramento, which we lost in an embarrassing fashion. I don't think he scored double digits, and ever since then he's been putting up good numbers, and he's currently averaging 22 points a game. But going back onto that first game of the season against Sacramento, that was disgraceful from what I saw. Honestly, how we didn't win that game is beyond me. I actually remember it. I think we're up by 2, about 7 seconds left or so. Or 12, I don't know how long, but we didn't have to shoot. And we inbound the ball to Will Barton, a player that, honestly, he's been getting on my nerves for a while now, and this season he's been absolutely atrocious, especially shooting from the field as well. I think he's shooting under 40%. I think I have the stats here. Yeah, he's shooting under 40%, making about 4 shots a game out of basically 11. 32% from 3. 38% overall. 39%, I guess, if you round up. And he's only shooting 64% from the line as well. He's been absolutely atrocious. Gary Harris has been terrible as well, especially offensively. And he's been like this for a year or two now, and honestly, I might have to try to make a trade soon, because I don't know how much longer I can watch these two guys play. Gary Harris, I don't know what's happened to him. I think he got injured a year or two ago, and he's just never been the same ever since, because people were really high on him, and he's still actually quite young, I think. He's like 25, 26. But he's just been playing awfully, especially offensively. And if Will Barton, the one thing I do like about Will Barton is he goes to the rim and tries to draw fouls and actually cuts and goes inside. But when he just stands at the three-point line, he's not effective. And he's an alright defender, he's not a great defender. Same with Gary Harris. Like, Gary Harris is a good defender, but he's too small to really defend the wings, which is what we struggle with these days, and big men, because Jokic, as good as he is offensively, is not really that great defensively, and we have no real rim protection. Paul Millsap's like 50 years old and can't play defense. He's really been getting on my nerves this season as well. But yeah, going back to that first Sacramento game of the season, we're up by 2 with like 10 or so seconds left, and Will Barton gets the ball inbounded. He doesn't need to shoot it. We can just hold on to the ball and get fouled and shoot free throws to seal the game. But what does he do? He tries to dunk it because he sees no one at the rim, has no game awareness, doesn't look behind him or anything, and gets blocked by De'Aaron Fox. I do love De'Aaron Fox, he's a great player. And he gets a chase down block, and they go on to tie the game and then win it in overtime. But it shouldn't happen. I don't want to blame it all on Will Barton. It's got to be on the coach as well. This happened last year in the playoffs against the Jazz when it was Game 7 and we stole the ball from Donovan Mitchell. We're up 2 on a fast break. We don't need to shoot. We already have the lead, and there's not enough, and there's no shot clock because we can just hold it and get fouled. And I think Murray should have done that. He's like a 85 to 90% free throw shooter, but he gave it to Torrey Craig and he blew the layup and we got lucky and Conley missed a 3 at the buzzer. That would have been the most embarrassing way to go out. And the fact that happened, the first game of the season, is not looking good. Like, what is Michael Malone telling these guys? He should be telling them, look, don't shoot. There's 10 seconds left. Just hold the ball. Either pass it around or just hold it and get fouled and shoot the free throws. Because if you go for the layup or dunk and you don't make it, it's just ridiculous. It's so stupid. And I've been quite out on Mike Malone the last couple of years, but he won me over obviously last year with the playoff success and everything. And I think he's a great coach. He's a great player coach for like Jamal Murray and stuff. They really develop and like him. But I don't know how you can't tell them in that sequence, just don't shoot the ball. Have a look at the game clock. Use common sense. Use your game sense. I don't know how Will Barton can think going up for a dunk is just the right play when someone can come behind and block him, which happened. I mean, just hold the ball. It was so infuriating. And that just goes on. We won against Houston. We had a good game against Houston, I guess. And then we lost to Sacramento again. Although there was no Murray, I guess you can say that. And we haven't had Michael Porter Jr. for a few of these games now due to the health protocols, which is ridiculous. I hope he gets back soon. But I think it was a mistake to let Torrey Craig go. I mean, obviously we would have liked to keep Jeremy Grant, but 3 years, $60 million or whatever he's on, that's a lot of money. And I think it is quite overpaying him. But I read that we gave him the same deal, but he wanted a bigger role in Detroit, which is fair enough. He wants to try to be, he's betting on himself. He's trying to be a number 1 or 2 option, whereas on Denver he'd be like a 3 at best, probably a 4 or 5 in all honesty. But who knows, maybe if we started him more instead of Paul Millsap, he might have developed more and would have seen more, and he would have been happy with his minutes or shots, because I feel like bringing back Paul Millsap is not needed. He's not, I don't know, I just don't think he's been good this year at all, and he wasn't that good last year. He did have his moments though, I gotta admit, especially in that Clippers series, so I thank him for that, but he's just not getting better, and he infuriates me when we give it to Millsap on an ISO, and all he does is try to draw the foul. Doesn't even try to make the shot, he's just trying to draw a foul, and Paul Millsap, you're not a superstar, mate, you don't get those calls. I don't understand what he's trying to do. I mean, Jokic can try to do it because he does draw the fouls, and he actually makes the shots as well. He doesn't just blindly go in looking for the foul. He'll make a move and actually do something. Paul Millsap's just running into them and hoping the refs bail him out. It's so infuriating, and he just turns it over. So I don't know why we didn't try to keep Jeremy Grant more. We should have played him more. Maybe he would have liked it there better, but I got no problems with him betting on himself. It sucks because I feel like we'd be a lot better with him. But I don't know why we didn't keep Torrey Craig either. This is the big one for me. If you're letting Grant go, who guards like all the best players that we play against, especially the wing players like the LeBrons, the Kawhis, the PGs, those types of players, you have to keep someone who can guard those guys. But we just let Torrey Craig go for a minimum. It was not like it was a bidding war for him or anything. He wanted to stay too, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure on Twitter he was very disappointed to be let go. I mean, we should have freed up a roster spot for him. He was, like, I know he's not the best player. He was the one who did all the dirty work, all the hustle plays, all the stuff that wouldn't show up on the stat sheet. And if he knocked down a couple threes, even better. He was also the one that makes all the cuts, all the crazy cuts, gets offensive rebounds, stuff like that. And Jokic finds him and feeds him for those fancy assists and stuff like that. So I think losing Torrey Craig is a very underrated thing that the Denver Nuggets did. And they brought in people like Campazzo, who I do like Campazzo to be honest, but do we really need another point guard? I mean, Monte Morris is basically the best backup point guard in the league, I'd say. And we go out and get another guard who's really, really small and probably isn't a knockdown shooter, isn't a great defender. Like, he's great for his size, but in the NBA, I'm not sure if it's going to translate well. But a lot of the players are a lot bigger and stuff. Hopefully we get to see a bit more RJ Hampton. Really looking forward to see how he'll develop, but with Denver's track record, he'll probably just sit out the whole year and then we'll play next year. As well as Bol, maybe he'll get some more minutes. But yeah, I just feel like we should have kept a roster spot open for Torrey Craig, because now we have no one to guard the wings. Like, who are we going to ask? We're going to ask Gary Harris, who's undersized. He's like 6'4". Will Barton, who's 6'7". He's got good length, but he's not built enough to really keep these players out of the paint, stuff like that. And Paul Millsap's too old and too slow, and Porter Jr.'s still trying to become an average NBA defender at this stage because he's been atrocious, but he's working on it, and you can see that, so that's promising. One more promising thing that the Nuggets actually did do was bring in JaMychal Green. I really thought he'd work well with this team, and he has. When he's played, he's been great. Just hopefully he can get his conditioning right and be able to play more. And I want to see how well he can play with Jokic. I want to play JaMychal Green and Jokic at the same time. Possibly eat up some more of Millsap's minutes and stuff like that. Although he does work well as a small five, as a backup five. Because Hartenstein's a bit hit and miss, but JaMychal Green's been great. He is just obviously a bit undersized to play center, but who knows? Maybe he'll play a bit with Jokic as well next time. But yeah, very disappointing start to the season, especially in our division when the likes of Utah and Portland have also been disappointing, and we haven't been able to capitalise. We've been very atrocious, especially on the defensive end. Looking at our stat leaders, Jokic is leading the team in points, rebounds, assists, and even steals. The only thing he's not leading in is blocks, and that's just barely because our leader is PJ Dozier with just under 1 block a game. So really need the role players to step up and start shooting better and playing better. Just playing better as a team as well, especially defensively, as I mentioned. But yeah, that's going to be it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And if you like the video, it helps me out. Thanks, guys. Peace.